What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 965 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again on this pre-recorded episode with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Yes, we were planning to do the show live today, but sometimes tech issues happen, and you just got to power through it and make the best of it. That was us today, but we're here again to give you the nourishing content that you deserve.
Bro, I need it too, because like today has been...
You need the content just as much as they do?
Yeah, like it's been a rough one. Like there was a point, guys, like I don't even know how to get into it. Like there might even be, like you guys won't know, because if I have to edit something here, like you won't be able to tell if there was tech issues of any sort. But there was a point today where I literally did the thing. I just sat down, I took my glasses off, and I went like this. I was literally Ben Affleck, except for I don't smoke.
Yeah, maybe you could become a Dunkin' connoisseur, though. He loves Dunkin' and a cigarette.
See, I can't do that. I can't do that now because more coffee will give me more anxiety from the caffeine.
But I mean, I don't know. I drink coffee all the time. I have some coffee right here. It's very calming for me. I don't know about you, though.
You gotta get some matcha.
But that combo definitely seems to be the only thing keeping Ben Affleck alive. I kind of like when, I know this sounds bad, it sounds like I enjoy when you're miserable, but when you like rub your eyes, I don't really do that because I have contacts. It's very satisfying. And then you just pull your eyelids all the way down sometimes.
I go like this, I go,
it's a big dad moment, I feel. It's like a spiritually dad moment.
Did you do an introduction? Did you do a traditional introduction?
Yeah, I said hello, Crisis Actors.
Okay.
I guess that's my only introduction that I ever do. It is Mary, in case you forgot about me.
I was doing some, I had to use Crisis Actors while you were gone. I had to keep that going, so.
Someone's got to do it.
Exactly. Guys,
I remember using that for the first time, and you guys were like, I don't know, like very paranoid about it. Like, you can't say that. Yeah. But we made it a thing, and now it's our thing.
It is our thing. Guys, we've got a bunch of stuff to get into today. So before we get started, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share this episode out with everybody. We would love for you to do that, honestly, because these are pre-recorded. It's different than the live audience. We want to make sure we reach as many people as we possibly can out there. So please go ahead and share the video out. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today. Number one, of course, being Bonnie Blue has been arrested. These trifling ass women, they are going to, they're going to put themselves in danger with all of the shenanigans they're pulling. She got arrested abroad, as they say. I'm not even going to explain. In fact, we're going to save it. You're going to like, it involves a bus. It involves a bunch of people who were just barely of legal consenting age. If that sounds disgusting to you, you are correct. So we're going to get into it. We're also going to talk about Netflix ODing on wokeness because it never ends. Everything going on right now between Paramount, Netflix, and Warner Brothers seems to have, there's all sorts of ancillary motives connected to everything, and people are wondering if this campaign people are coming out against something called Queen of Coal, and it is about it is about a trans coal miner, and people have questions. So we're going to get into that.
I promise you, I think the only person who thinks that this is some kind of
conspiracy
distraction psyop. I am the only person who thinks it's a psyop.
Mary has questions.
Everyone's blaming me for it. Everyone's so mad at me for not coming out on the right side of the woke, culture, anti-woke culture war. But I have a theory, and I'm going to share it with all of you.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that. Also, The Housemaid v. Wicked. Dawn of Justice.
These press tours are warring against each other for what can be the most cringy relationship between co-stars. Is it Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, or Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney? They both have their own weird moments, but I think you already know what the correct answer is.
We got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If you're ready, Mary, we can just go. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
So McDonald's just made a huge mistake posting this brand new Christmas ad. It is completely AI generated and everyone hates it. I think that everyone would hate it even if it weren't AI generated, to be honest, because the entire point of the ad is hating Christmas. And I guess this makes sense because they're also posting a bunch of like Grinch promos. So they have a new like Grinch Happy Meal. I guess the vibe that they're going for this Christmas is just hating Christmas and spreading negative vibes to everyone. So far, what I know is that they first panicked and turned the comments off on YouTube. Then they completely took down the ad altogether off of YouTube after the backlash ensued. But let's take a look at it now, and we'll get our first impressions out of the way.
Here we go. Got it.
It's the most terrible time of the year. All the shops turn to mayhem, even Santa knows space, and the tree redecorated your place. It's the most terrible time of the year. The roast turned to charcoal, and the cookies burned too. Freaking chaos, it feels like a zoo. It's the most terrible time of the year. So you flee from the madness, the lights and the cheer, and hide out in McDonald's till January's here.
I wonder if the song was AI generated, if they prompted it. See, like
yeah,
using
I
Suno.
can't tell about the song. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that the AI generated video is more advanced than AI generated songs. But,
No,
you know,
no. I don't. I think the opposite.
You think it's the opposite?
There is so much music being made with Suno these days. That's so I've been sending it to everybody that I can. There are these. I don't even know how to describe it. They're like 2000s pop reimagining, like pop punk reimaginings of songs that are literally the most incredible thing ever. I actually, like, when I listen to them, I'm like, I feel bad for actual musicians. Like, I do. Because most people don't look at art in the most, I guess the word would be esoteric light. They don't think of it in the same deep way because all art they see these days is commercialized. They don't, it's not like they're going to galleries and they're looking at art with this great description, what the art, you know, it's like you've been to galleries, right? Like that takes a lot of work to do what they do, to build out the displays and the galleries, the art houses and everything. But most people aren't consuming their art this way. And McDonald's, to call it art, is a bit silly. So when it comes to music, I feel even worse for them because they put, millions of man hours into making songs, and somebody just goes in Suno and's like, yeah, could you make like Justin Bieber's One Time, but make it a Motown song from the 60s? And then that's just what, I mean, it takes work, but it doesn't take the same type of work. I actually feel bad for them. And I do believe that as the generations expand, getting into Gen Alpha and then Gen Beta, the idea of like the humanity of art is going to start to disappear, and it's going to be all about consumption.
Well, I can't say for sure because I'm not in the music industry. Maybe we could phone in Phil's take, but
Yeah.
I've heard that it's an open secret that pretty much all mainstream artists are incorporating AI into their songs. They're using it to basically create the melodies, and then they're going to put their vocal tracks over it, and that's not being disclosed to the people streaming and buying their music, obviously. But aside from all that, I mean, you understand the intricacies that go into lighting and composition when corporations are, filming commercials, at least how they used to. And a lot of that complexity has been lost here as well. But I really hate the concept of the ad more than anything, like more than the fact that it's an AI generated ad. Coca-Cola made the fact that their commercial was AI generated kind of the focal point. McDonald's, it seems like they were going for that to be, just one interesting feature of it, and hopefully like how it fly under the radar.
Does the cynicism bother you? Like, that's the first thing I thought. The cynicism is annoying.
It's horrible. The studio behind the ad says they hardly slept for several weeks while writing AI prompts and refining the shots. AI didn't make this film, we did. So they're trying to combat the idea that they didn't put human effort into it. But ultimately, the backlash became too loud and McDonald's panicked and took it down. Obviously, the internet is forever, so everyone's seen it already.
Yeah.
But here was an absolutely insane take from someone who goes by ChatGPT21 on X. He says, McDonald's just dropped a new AI ad, and it's beautiful. And I'm tired of people pretending this is not the future of media. If this played on your TV during a normal commercial break, you would be disingenuous to say it's slop, or I could easily tell it's AI. It's a fantastic ad on its own merits, and it's obvious that AI video will eventually be one-to-one with reality, where you truly cannot tell the difference if you're of average intelligence and can extrapolate, of course.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point out that he used the wrong "you're" there when saying if you're of average intelligence. When we get there, then what? Is it still slop, or does slop permeate as a label for anything made with AI, even when you cannot tell at all? I still think you can easily tell.
There's a Gaussian look to the shots, like especially the one where like the blender blows up in the guy's face or whatever. First of all, that would give my wife that would give my wife a heart attack. If something like this happened. But there's this Gaussian nature. It's kind of hard to tell with the resolution being what it is here on the video replay, but it's like it's the way that that it sits in the lighting here, like in the lights up top. It has a painted feel to it that's like at odds with reality. But the thing is, I did a video while you were moving on this AI artist, an AI Christian artist. I don't know how a Christian artist can be AI. Or how an AI can be Christian, but a Christian artist named Solomon Ray that's made it to the top of like the gospel charts. And if you listen to the songs, like, cause he put out a Christmas album, right? And I'm telling you, if you're just a normie and you're in your car driving to go buy Christmas presents, or, God forbid, you're at an actual store trying to buy gifts and you heard it on the speakers, it's indistinguishable to me. Like, people were like, it sounds like Chris Stapleton. I'm like, okay, that's the problem here. It sounds like somebody, but for the most part, nobody's going to be thinking about it that deeply unless they're really into the music scene. And that's what these corporations want. They want stuff that can pass for the passive listener.
I don't know
passive
if I
viewer.
did. I don't remember if I shared this on the show before my move, but I was getting my nails done recently, and I know I told you about it off air at least. The nail salon they usually just play like kind of non-licensed, royalty-free tracks that are just like whatever music. But today, the day that I was in the nail salon, they were playing what was so clearly AI generated rock songs. And I could tell, I felt like I was the only person in there paying any attention to the background noise, because I wasn't talking to anybody. And all of the rock songs were with the same, like, you can tell the vocals are AI because the guy's basically screaming. And there's no like real recognizable melody to it. And all of the lyrics were like, it's rock and roll till the day I die. Like, rock and roll will never lie. Like, I don't even know what it was saying. It was the most generic thing ever. So I can still tell. But, the predictions about AI aside, like whether it will get to the point where it's indistinguishable or not, I still think that we should stand our ground and say, like, this is not what we want for the future. Like, the question still remains, is one superior to the other? And I think that, a commercial made with real actors, real human-made music is superior.
Absolutely.
Matt Walsh said, if you call AI-generated slop beautiful, I lose all respect for you as a human being. Your soul has to be in a state of total decay to look at some lifeless, uncanny bullshit spit out by an algorithm and use the word beautiful to describe it. AI slop can never be beautiful. And the AI progenitors are just going to continue saying that slop is an unfair, derogatory slur for a beautiful art form, and these factions are just going to keep screaming at each other. But I did really take most issue with the cynicism of the ad and saying Christmas is the most terrible time of the year. It would be a flop commercial regardless of whether it were AI generated, but I think the fact that it's AI generated is no coincidence to why they chose this messaging.
Yeah.
This one reply said, regardless of AI, this is a bad idea for a commercial. Most people like Christmas. Nobody wants negative vibes. Don't blame AI for bad taste. So those are just some editorial notes that they could use for the future.
Yeah, this seems like a weird question, but like, what generation really promulgated this cynical worldview. Because I think it's the thing that bothers me more than anything when I watch movies and television is there's just a lack of earnestness in most things. I think that's why people liked Top Gun Maverick as much as they did, as weird of a pivot as that is. But it felt earnest. It felt like it was willing to put itself out there in a way, and nobody really wants to do that anymore because nobody wants to look foolish. What generation do you think brought that about? Was that the millennials? Because now it feels like millennials lean into like fake nostalgia for their childhood. That's supposed to be like there's like an air of earnestness there, but it's not. It's cynicism because it's cynical in the way they see the world now.
I think it might have started before the millennial generation.
Gen X?
Possibly Gen X. I think that the more people hate their own families, the more they're going to hate Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's really the truth of the matter. The more people hate their own families or are indifferent to their own families or are just geographically distant from their own families.
Yeah.
That's really where the cynicism comes from, I think, because these are, of course, the times of year when you are forced or pressured to be around your family. That's really where it comes from.
We watched Miracle on 34th Street over Thanksgiving. And I liked that the main character, like the Dylan McDermott's main character, is basically like he's trying to instill a sense of wonder in this kid that doesn't have any because her mom basically told her Santa isn't real, and she's too grown up for her own age. And he's like, and obviously the point of the movie is that Santa does exist, but like the idea here is he's trying to reinstill a sense of wonder in somebody who's lost it, and I feel like that's just something nobody values anymore.
I have had this movie recommended to me recently. I think I can't remember the actor, but he's a divorced dad in the movie, and Santa like crash lands on his property and dies, and then he has to.
You've never seen the Santa Claus?
No, I have not.
Oh,
so
yeah. That's the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, yes. Okay, so I've had people recommend that to me because it's sort of like COD, Child of Divorce Core cinema, and that type of earnestness and sincerity needs to make a comeback in cinema in general, but especially Christmas movies.
There's a part in that movie where he takes, if I remember correctly, and we are going to rewatch it this year, he takes his son to Denny's, I think over Thanksgiving, because like the turkey is like I don't remember if the turkey got burnt or whatever it was, or he just didn't have one, and the kid's already bummed because they've got to go to fucking Denny's on Thanksgiving. And he's excited for one thing, and it's to get like chocolate milk, and he asks the lady, like, "Can I get a chocolate milk, please?" She goes, "We're out." And he goes, "Regular milk's fine." I love that
I need
movie.
to watch that soon.
It's worth it. It is. It's and you see his character. You see Tim Allen's character go through his own growth and his own evolution in that movie, and it does lean into the idea that cynicism isn't the way forward. That sometimes you just need to believe. So, all right.
Well, that's to my point. That's why I believe the cynicism began before the millennial generation, because baby boomers have had the highest divorce rate compared to all following generations. So once families started getting broken apart, I mean, obviously that means that people are going to have negative associations with the holidays.
All right.
You know?
All right. Let's move on. We got more to get into.
Yeah. Variety just held their annual Hitmakers event, and they awarded Sabrina Carpenter with Hitmaker of the Year. And I guess that's fair. She had a huge run this year. But in her acceptance speech, she explained what she believes it takes to write a hit song. And this is what she had to say. Write the opposite of what you think a hit is. Write what speaks to you. Write something that only you can write. Write the music you want to listen to yourself. Add the weird chord progression and key change, and call men stupid in as many ways as you can. And they also platformed a host of other young pop stars there. Tate McRae spoke at the event, Olivia Rodrigo as well. So they were all in a room clapping for each other and patting themselves on the back.
It's so weird how Tate McRae sounds exactly like you'd imagine her voice. Like her singing voice is almost exactly like her speaking voice. It's very
Yeah,
weird.
I watched one small clip of her speech from the event, and I can definitely tell it's a real voice. But she was also there, like, just talking about like how hard it is to, grow up and like live as a woman in the public eye. Like a lot of it had very little to do with music,
Mhm.
but I just thought it was incredibly telling that Sabrina Carpenter's last message for the audience was, regardless of anything else about your music or your artistic integrity, use your music to call men stupid in as many ways as you can.
Of
And that is
course.
exactly what she does in her discography. Um, I mean, Man's Best Friend as an album was almost entirely themed after, as she put it, putting yourself into bad situations, meaning, dating men that are pieces of shit who don't care about you, hooking up with them, even though you know that it's a short term fling, and getting used by men sexually, and then building up resentment over time for men because of the way that they treat you, because of the men that you continue selecting.
Mhm.
And I responded to this and said it's just funny how it's the women who let men use their bodies like prostitutes or glorified fleshlights who tend to hate men the most.
Funny how that
Like
works.
if you don't surround yourself with men who treat you like trash, it tends to be that you don't have such a negative view of them and yourself, and there is a little bit of projection there. Like I think you probably let them treat you that way because you hate yourself and don't think that you have inherent worth. So you're going to project your self hatred onto the entire male population and also project that out into your music career. And that is her entire brand, is just hating men and also wanting to sleep with men. And I posted about that on my Instagram, and like tons of people were like, it's not that deep. Like, no, I mean, I guess it's not that deep. It's pretty self explanatory and obvious
Mhm.
to me or any thinking person. But that's very clearly where she's coming from with that. And I saw one reply that said, men often write such beautiful music. I noticed the other day that all of my favorite songs, the one that hits so deep it hurts, are written and performed by men. There is a depth that it's like only some of them can reach. People say men are actually the more romantic sex. Based off of music, I would have to agree. Anyway, here's Sabrina Carpenter's advice for writing a hit song.
Yeah,
And
it
I don't want
makes
to say that like women are incapable of writing love songs or they're incapable of the same like emotional depth that men can reach. I don't mean to say that at all, but the way that popular music is currently, that does seem to be the case.
maybe part of it is that because the act of pursuing a woman is considered a romantic act itself, that there's something
Hmm.
that people find beautiful about somebody putting themselves out there lyrically, not just in the context. Like I think back to like my favorite meme is still R&B sucks now because dudes don't grab the air anymore. Because that's what they were doing in the music videos in the 90s. They were singing ballads and they were reaching out. They were striving to and I will be honest, there were female artists at that time who made songs like that as well. Brandy made songs like that. Monica made songs like that. I don't think it has anything to do with the gender. I think it has to do with the type of music that the industry now puts forth for them. I can't
Hmm.
speak to whether I believe that it's not that deep. I know that that's like the hardest narrative to combat because like outside of getting some actual references from the artist itself, like they've got a certain amount of plausible deniability where it's just like, no, we just wanted to make a song that could make your head bop and sell records. But music was fundamentally different, at least as far as the top 40 back when I was growing up. It was a lot of Boys to Men. It was a lot of Monica and Brandy. All band, groups like that. And they were very much pushed by the industry, and the idea of love, again, back to the idea of cynicism, love was pushed by the industry, which it does
Yeah.
not do anymore. The idea of pushing the notion of love is left to like what, Ed Sheeran? Does he do that? It feels like he gets left out of the discussion about male artists, by the way. He kind of gets forgot about because he technically counts as pop music.
Despite the fact that he is so insanely popular. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking back on like the music that I grew up with, the music that my parents would play in the car when they picked me up from school or whatever.
Mhm.
There was a lot of Gavin DeGraw, The Fray, Daughtry,
My gosh.
Matchbox 20, Coldplay.
You know what? No, the thing is, all those artists, you know where they would have been featured heavily on teen dramas that leaned into the notion of romance and I mean messed up romance and love triangles and kids making mistakes. But that's what those shows were famous for. Like those shows, like a One Tree Hill, was famous for introducing people to new artists that sang in that genre.
And then the other music I listened to came from, you know, the kids' TV shows I was watching, right? Like, I listened to the High School Musical songs.
Of course.
I listened to the Hannah Montana songs on my iPod Shuffle that I won from a claw machine.
Really?
Yeah. Well, technically, my cousin won it for me from a claw machine. The kind that, it wasn't just the iPod Shuffle, it was like the clip-on kind that didn't have a screen on it.
That was my favorite. That's what I used for skating because I could basically I could fall on that thing 1,000 times and it would still work. Like I had one at one point that was so scratched from scraping it on the ground that you couldn't even tell which button was which. Still worked.
Oh, and also Hillary Duff.
Yep.
That was on my rotation as well, and like the early Miley Cyrus songs before the Wrecking Ball era.
One of the songs that I was talking about in our prior segment of the pop punk version of a song, and I'm not even kidding you, I'll send it to you. It's a pop punk version of Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis. And it's the greatest thing you'll ever hear in your I'm not even kidding you. I don't care what anybody says. It's the greatest thing you'll ever hear in your entire life. And that song wasn't even written by her. That song was written by Jesse McCartney, who was a very, Olivia was just listening to How Do You Sleep the other day because she's like, I'd never heard this song and played it for her. And
I hadn't either.
She's like, okay, she's like, why don't they make music like this anymore?
I had never heard that song either until you mentioned it.
Yeah.
But I remember, what was that? Like the big Jesse McCartney song though.
Beautiful Soul.
Yeah. I love that one. Again, like a very sincere love song, and people just enjoyed it for what it was. I also have talked about the death of, boy bands and teenage idols. Like there's never going to be another Justin Bieber, at least what he was at the time. And he just had very wholesome, simple love songs. I mean, obviously until he grew up, that changed. But that really doesn't exist anymore. And it's sad because I know Sabrina Carpenter grew up with the same music that I did, basically. I think she was born just the year before me. And she recently, in a companion interview to the Hitmaker event, responded to the backlash over her excessive use of sexual references in her lyrics. She said, I think it wouldn't matter so much if I weren't a childhood figure for some people, but I also can't really help that. It's not my fault that I got a job when I was 12 and you won't let me evolve. So, I mean, the problem with that is the people who were criticizing her didn't grow up with her on Disney Channel. Like, I didn't grow up with her on Disney Channel. She was on it well after my time. She's not being criticized by people who idolized her when they were in, grade school. That's not what's happening. I just think that's a really disingenuous way to respond to the criticism.
No,
and
they're criticizing the fact that she, fakes sexual acts on stage when it's not an 18-plus show.
That's another thing, obviously, of course, that she's never responded to accurately. And most of these pop stars, Sabrina Carpenter included, are just surrounded by yes men who gas them up all the time. You can tell that's the case with Charlie XCX. In this interview, though, they mentioned Sabrina is backstage at her Madison Square Garden show. And someone in her posse says, it's so hard to find something that's both slutty enough and comfy enough. And then they say her posse groans in sympathy and agreement.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it.
Enjoy vapidity, Sabrina. This is, I just think she's not a very bright individual.
Yeah. And
that has become more and more clear every time that she does an interview talking about her music. She tried to no end to explain the artistic decision behind the controversial album cover that she chose.
Yep.
And had ultimately no explanation. And she can give a speech about all of the hard work and thought and effort that it takes for her to write a hit, but in reality, her music career was a total flop and didn't take off until a committee took over for her and created her image and brand on her behalf.
I agree.
Not surprising at all from a former Disney kid.
All right. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see the cute first, since we did the cringe first yesterday.
Okay. All right. We will do this.
Cringe was also pretty bad.
Yeah.
The one I sent you today.
Gary says, Rosie says, draw me like one of your French kitties. Maybe he just watched, must have just watched Titanic. Our cats
She's
sit
lounging.
our cats sit like that sometimes, and they always look drunk. They always look like they're just in the middle of a hangover.
That's so
Oh, it's a cute.
I love Rosie.
It's it's like a black, yellow, black, orange, and white mix.
It's a tricolor.
Yeah, it's very cute. All right, let's do cute of the day or cringe of the day. Excuse me.
The cringe today, I'm just gonna warn you, it's really
bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I mean, maybe it's just bad for me. I don't know.
Here
We'll
we go.
see.
Here. This up.
Okay, wait. Today we're interviewing McKenna and Sam.
Okay, when did you guys start dating?
Like 4 weeks ago? No, not 4 weeks ago. What the fuck are you on? Yeah, clearly.
Jensen's like a major drug dealer in the school.
Do y'all not know? So y'all don't know? No. Okay, continue.
Okay, how long?
Bro, this is killing me.
How long are you guys gonna date for?
Continue.
What's your favorite thing about each other?
His tiny hands. Exactly. What's the favorite thing about this cutie? Right here. Everything. Okay.
How long have you guys liked each other before you guys started dating?
Like beginning of the year.
Okay, last one you guys.
What about you?
Okay, now you guys could either hug or kiss.
Huh? Hug or kiss? Go! Oh, this side, okay.
Okay.
The absolute state of tweens in this country.
I don't even know
It's
what the hell did I just watch?
Why are they making street interview content with their classmates?
Good for them for taking notes, though. They're getting prepared. They're not just showing up and trying to wing it. They're doing their jobs. Yeah, a bright future in journalism for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You can already tell.
All right.
Rising stars.
Let's hold off. Let's move on. We got more to get into.
Yeah, justice has been served. These trifling hoes are finally being put behind bars where they belong. So apparently last week, Bonnie Blue was arrested in Indonesia, along with 17 men who have not been identified. 2 of them are British citizens, and the other 15 are Australian. And you can probably guess that most of them are around the age of 18. They're called schoolies, or in British lexicon, they're called freshers. This is something that Bonnie Blue, the outrageous OnlyFans icon she is, has made her brand around doing these schoolies events. She finds barely legal teenage men to hook up with on camera, and they usually cover their faces. And this is something that they do between semesters of school or after the end of the summer or when they're just entering school. So she traveled to Bali for this purpose. I assume that's where a lot of Australian students vacation in between semesters of school. And in Indonesia, it is outright illegal to both produce and watch pornography. This is something that a lot of Westerners just forget, is that the rest of the world exists and they do not share the same value system that we have here, for better and for worse. I would say this is for better. Police in Bali have yet to release additional information following the arrest last week of controversial OnlyFans model Bonnie Blue and 17 male tourists on suspicion of breaching Indonesia's strict anti-pornography law. If prosecuted and found guilty under the law, Bonnie Blue, whose real name is Tia Ballinger, faces up to 15 years imprisonment in Indonesia and fines up to 6 billion rupiah, which is approximately $541,000 in US dollars. Those are the maximum penalties.
Is it Ballinger or Billinger? It said Billinger. I know we've talked about it before. So it said Billinger in the article. It might just be it might just be a mistype.
This is another thing.
That's pedantic
Bonnie Blue,
again. I'm being pedantic. Let's keep going.
Bonnie Blue lies about who she is. I think that, my theory is there is just absolutely no way that this woman is 25 years old, or maybe she claims to be 26 now. There is no way that is true. Anyway, they continue saying a large cache of items, including professional video cameras, mountains of contraceptives and erectile drugs, a small blue light pickup truck with the words Bonnie Blue's Bang Bus painted across the front and side, in addition to the content creator's own Instagram account, in which she has been seen soliciting school-age teenagers over the age of 18 for pornographic activities, were seized by police in Bali following a tip from concerned citizens. And I salute all of those concerned citizens who were a part of serving justice in this situation. According to a managing partner at PNB Immigration, a law firm specializing in helping foreigners deal with Indonesian immigration and legal matters, he says, if found guilty, Blue will probably be deported and banned from ever entering Indonesia again, rather than prosecuted and imprisoned, which is unfortunate because then she's just going to go home and do the same thing she normally does.
Do you think she thought do you think that she looked into these laws ahead of time and was just trying to flout it?
She's obviously not dumb. You would think that she would do her research beforehand. I almost wish that she had been arrested for something totally nebulous and unrelated to her porn, like shoplifting or something. Bringing a weed pen across customs. Having
mountains of contraceptives, but of little blue pills sounds like a drug case to me, because they're usually prescription.
Unless the tourists are the ones who brought those with them. Okay. Who knows what happened there. She's being detained by police, which means they can proceed to prosecute her. But if there is an invisible hand that requests that she be deported, she can be transferred to the nearest immigration office, from where she will be deported from Indonesia. This type of industry, there's always someone or an organization that controls it to make a profit, so it may not be straightforward for her to be prosecuted in Indonesia. I think that's probably incorrect if it appears that Bonnie Blue is an independent OnlyFans creator. There's no, production company that's behind it. That's kind of the entire point of the business model. But then he theorized perhaps that is the reason she came here in the first place, because if something bad happened, as it has, she can be deported easily. But now that it's all over the media, the authorities might decide to first let the situation calm down and release her in January or February of next year. So she might be detained throughout the remainder of 2025, if not further. This is not the first case in Bali where foreigners have been accused of creating pornography content, and the outcome in each case has depended on the strength of the invisible hand behind the foreigners. And the case that they mentioned here was a 44-year-old American woman identified by her initials JRG, deported from Indonesia after being arrested and detained in Bali for hosting an intimacy mastery retreat at a luxury villa.
Of course.
In their tourist precinct.
Of course.
The paid class, attended by participants from several countries, included lessons on sexual activity and was deemed to be a misuse of the anonymous woman's visa on arrival, which prohibits commercial activities and violates Indonesia's laws. Last year in September, a Ukrainian woman identified by initials VR and her toddler were deported after she, who was residing in Bali on a limited stay permit as an investor, was arrested at a villa in Ubud where she allegedly filmed pornographic content. Well, that's just terrifying because she was taking care of a child during the time that she was arrested. But the list of similar cases goes on and on. In December of 2024 and March of 2023, several Russian nationals involved in prostitution and commercial sex work were arrested in Bali and deported for violating their residence permits. Now, to the question that you asked earlier, did Bonnie Blue do her research and understand that this was against the law? Probably. I just think she operates with such reckless abandon and is an actual clinical sociopath. Therefore, she doesn't care about taking risks and what could happen to her. And she knows that, of course, it's going to get a lot of media attention, and that's her number one motivation for doing anything.
Yeah, it's well, she's developed a business model that requires endless escalation. Like there's like there's no middle ground to what she's doing. She has to, the headlines have to get more and more insane.
She obviously wasn't trying to hide what she was doing at all. If she were driving around in a flashy party bus that literally says Bonnie Blue's Bang Bus on it in public, like she clearly knew that she was taking a risk here. And then the New York Post got comment from somebody who remained anonymous but claimed to be one of the individuals who reported her activities to the government, and that is what led to her arrest, as well as the 17 other tourists. The way we tracked her wasn't particularly complicated. We just followed her through her gangbang bus. But the cops, at first, they couldn't even understand what was happening. We had to explain it to them that there are about 20 guys and Bonnie Blue. They just couldn't comprehend it. But once we explained to them that she's driving around in the gangbang bus and that she was bragging about sleeping with schoolies, some of whom were barely legal, and that the footage was going to go worldwide afterwards, they confirmed that the activity was illegal and took action. Then they sent in undercover agents and booked them. I don't know what that means.
They found like somebody fresh out of the Indonesian police academy and said, you got to go in there and take one for the team, bro.
Yeah, they sent in like some 18-year-old intern or something. Who knows?
Yeah,
but somebody narked.
It is funny. It is funny in a very sad way, like how much of a circus like the Western world is to other people.
Yeah, it's just like anything goes. And then you see how other governments operate. And, I believe it might have been Bonnie Blue. It might have been somebody else. There was a video that came out of like some Eastern European country. It might have been Romania, where, you could see like a prostitute or a cam worker or something and her pimp getting dragged out onto the street into an unmarked van by the law enforcement there, and people in the West just have like zero concept of just like enforcing morality in the law. And I mean my belief is that that's why laws exist. Actually, I think it's totally detached from reality to claim that like we shouldn't legislate morality. Literally all laws legislate morality, and I would love to live in a country where these activities are illegal and penalized properly.
I mean, I don't know if I think that all laws legislate morality. Like when I think of some of the tax laws and stuff like that, like I don't think of that as moral grounds. I think of it as like just a way for the government to profit more. Like if we're talking about, I guess that's not a law though. Like when I think about, what they do, like, well, if you're going to sell your Bitcoin and the government wants a piece of it, like, I don't see morality in that. Like, if you don't report your income and then you go to jail because they don't get a piece of my sale of Bitcoin, that to me is not moral. But I get your point.
What I mean when I say that all laws legislate morality is that there is a moral argument behind literally every single one of them, regardless of whether you agree with the moral conclusion that they operate under. You know what I mean?
Also, like Americans, I guess she's not American though. But like people in the West have been so blessed to live in a very relatively safe country compared to so much else of the world that they feel like they can skimp on things like police and law enforcement and enforcing the law, which is why right now we're dealing with the weird situation where the left gets mad when they bomb narco terrorists extrajudiciously, but also they get mad and then nobody says anything when Irina Zarutska is brutally murdered because it goes against the narrative. Like, I just think the West is so caught up in its own issues that it should care more about the law, but it doesn't.
I just wanted to mention as well, this is only tangentially related, but I thought it would be interesting to bring up. Sydney Sweeney's character in Euphoria, Cassie, reportedly is going to have an OnlyFans account in the 3rd season of Euphoria.
Yeah, I saw that.
And this doesn't surprise me because Sam Levinson's entire MO is just going for shock value instead of being creative. Like his character arcs for all of these characters are revolving around just the heights of hedonism and sexual license.
Yeah.
Another one of them in the third season is reportedly going to be managing a strip club as a mistress or something. I just think it's a very lazy move.
Should have made one of the characters the OnlyFans manager. Nobody ever talks about the OnlyFans managers.
Yeah, I wonder, since Sydney Sweeney is so hated now, is this going to stigmatize OnlyFans?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see.
I just saw a chart that ranked the highest spending countries on OnlyFans. The US is at the top by multiple billions.
I mean, that makes sense to me given the size of America. Like,
I know it's also population size, yeah, of course. But we are the country that I think is the top consumer of both mainstream pornography and illegal pornography, which I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
Because the algorithm will detect me saying it, but it's just a sad state of affairs.
I agree. All right. Let's move on. That was depressing. Let's move on. We've got more to get into.
No, I don't think it was depressing because Bonnie Blue got what she deserved, so it's a happy ending.
I mean, I guess depressing in the sense that it's crazy that this stuff happens at all. But you are correct. Let's move on.
Okay, so this feels very 2022. Apparently, Pedro Pascal's transgender identifying sister, Lux Pascal, who was originally Lucas Pascal, is starring in this new movie that is debuting on Netflix called Queen of Coal. After I did some research, I found out that this released in a limited theatrical release back in June this year, but it's going to streaming now. It was originally called Miss Carbone, and it is supposedly based on the inspiring true story of Carla Antonella Rodriguez, the first female miner in Argentine Patagonia. The logline here on Netflix says, a trans woman dreams of working the coal mines, but in a town steeped in superstition and patriarchy, Carlita must fight to earn her place underground. So I don't know a whole lot about the story that it's based on, but people were trying to retort and say, well, it's based on a true story, so it's not far-fetched at all. Just because it's based on a true story does not mean that you need to make a movie or a TV show about it and market it and spend millions of dollars on it, actually. But Lux Pascal is playing the lead and is trans in real life, so I guess that makes sense. It's a dude who transitioned MTF and apparently had a dream job of working in the coal mines, but has to fight against the patriarchy despite being a man.
I mean, that's the real crazy thing. The crazy thing is imagining there's somebody who wants to work in the coal mine.
Yeah, that part doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Most of the comments were saying, like, how the hell is this not parody? Like, I don't understand who greenlit this. Why is this happening? Especially in 2025, like, this does feel like vintage liberal mustiness to me.
It's like the less controversial version of like wanting to be a pro athlete and then becoming a female pro athlete,
right? I mean, I guess at
WNBA.
least you're not going to be injuring any actual women in the process.
You'll just be
Benny
injuring
Johnson posted about this, saying, "Why are you so against Netflix buying Warner Brothers and HBO?" Okay, I'm just going to say Benny Johnson is the one who involved the bidding war in this discussion. He said, here's why. Their upcoming film, Queen of Coal, is about a man who transitions and fights against conservative small-town community shown as hostile and evil to keep his dream job in the mines. It's front and center on Netflix. They're not even hiding it. If they take over Warner Brothers and HBO, this agenda goes everywhere. For now, you have the simple option to cancel Netflix and keep your kids away from it. But once they own all the studios and platforms, you can't. They'll put the same message in every show, every movie, every classic. Cancel Netflix, block the deal, protect the children. So, I I saw that post from Benny Johnson, and most of the posts that were about Queen of Coal were just dunking on it. And I wasn't the first to notice that Netflix is literally coal posting. They were just, making light of it. And he was the one who tied in the conversation about the bidding war for Warner Brothers between Netflix and Paramount, and believes that Queen of Coal somehow is relevant to the discussion. And that got me thinking, and I have, a little theory of my own, because a bunch of my timeline was populated with, platformed people on right-wing Twitter, ostensibly, who were complaining about this show, both in the context of the bidding war and out of it. And I just thought, this doesn't feel organic, because it's pretty irrelevant. Nobody would have heard about it. We wouldn't have heard about it had right-wing Twitter accounts not been dunking on it. And I'm not saying I know for sure, but it would not be the first time that right-wing Twitter was caught red-handed taking money to post about a certain topic with certain predetermined bullet points to get across a message to people and change their biases. And I mean, in my opinion, I don't really think there is a winning side. I don't think that there's a good outcome to Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers or Paramount acquiring Warner Brothers. I don't want either of these things to happen. I guess some people are saying we could wait a week or maybe 6 months to find out who's going to win.
It's going to take longer than that.
People are saying
between the two, yes.
People are saying different outcomes are possible, but I posted about this earlier, and I said I have a feeling that a bunch of people on right-wing Twitter are getting paid by an influenceable campaign or something to complain about an irrelevant trans coal miner show on Netflix, simply because Paramount's bid for Warner Brothers is backed largely by Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners, which, by the way, was seeded with $2 billion from Saudi Arabia, and Qatar's Sovereign Investment Fund, which is QIA. But maybe I'm just in my luteal phase.
So,
and I mentioned Influenceable. In case you guys don't know, Influenceable is this company which has actually reached out to me before. I do sometimes get emails and text messages from them, where they put out a certain campaign, and you can earn a commission as an influencer with a varying size of platform on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, in order to post about a certain idea or product. The most infamous example of this was the Big Soda campaign, when there was a discussion about whether SNAP benefits should be cut off for purchases of Coca-Cola products. And people on the right were suddenly really pro Coca-Cola and
big
our
government
freedom
out of our soda.
Yeah, keep big government out of our soda purchases. Suddenly they were really pro that. And come to find out, they were all getting paid to post the same thing inorganically. I'm not saying I know for sure, again. I'm just saying it's possible, and it's happened before, that right-wing Twitter accounts are, maybe it's a snowball effect.
Yeah, okay, so
all of these anti-Netflix sentiments all of a sudden about this one particular show, which is especially egregiously woke, just because the right is incentivized to promote Paramount's acquisition of Warner Brothers as opposed to Netflix's acquisition.
I did a video. I was I did 3 separate videos in one day on Paramount Warner Brothers when all of this news started breaking. One of them was on where everybody seemed to fall on political lines as far as this sale goes. Now, Benny Johnson was the example I used on the right, and his was a little bit about stories like this or Dead End Paranormal Park, but it was also because of Netflix's connection to Barack Obama and his production company. And the other side of the aisle was the likes, all the creatives. Basically, the creatives don't want Paramount to win, but they also don't want, and the right doesn't want Netflix to win. So creatives don't want one side to win because they think it's going to, there's two sides to that. One side doesn't want Netflix to win because they don't think that they're going to get theatrical releases and that they're gonna limit what they're making. The other side of the creatives don't want Paramount to win because they have TDS and they have, remember, David Ellison derangement syndrome. It's absolutely a real thing now. He is the new boogeyman in Hollywood. I'm not even saying I'm not saying he's somebody to be trusted. I'm saying he acts just like every other CEO. I actually called him a jilted. I called him jilted on my hostile takeover video because that's what it felt like. He's like, he didn't pick me. Now I'm gonna steal it all. But for this, do I believe that it's possible that they're like, look, let's get Netflix some bad publicity by doing this? Yeah, I believe that's possible. I would we'd have to go back and look for we'd have to go scour X and find the first person to out of nowhere pick up, this story about Queen of Coal. But we both agreed with the last one when it was about the animated movies that it didn't feel organic, that these movies had been out for ages. And that maybe it was a snowball rolling downhill and it just picked up steam, but it always seemed like this, like the right accounts with the right size following. And in this case, do I think that this meets that threshold? I'm going to wait till the weekend. If this picks up even more steam and over the weekend, suddenly more than just libs of TikTok and Benny, because the other people I saw covering this were like Disparu, who's not an American, and I don't think he's being paid by Influenceable.
Sure.
But I also think it's just easy fodder for people because they see the story and one of the hardest things on Twitter, man, is to come up with that funny line. It's not always easy. Yesterday, I was going to make my tweet about Chris Pratt's new movie, and it didn't hit me until I got to the end of the trailer to say this is the most January movie I've ever seen. Because it does. It looks like exactly the type of movie that gets dumped at the fucking beginning of the year. But, sometimes you just need the easy fodder, and this movie seems like it's easy fodder. And the connection to Pedro Pascal is also red meat for the base, as they say, because everybody loves dunking on Pedro Pascal. So I don't know if I necessarily buy that.
Well, I'm not saying every individual person who's posting about Queen of Coal is paid by Influenceable or some other marketing firm.
I get what you're saying.
Because it could definitely start that way, or they could pick it up in the middle. And then just seeing inorganic posts about it could prompt organic posts about it, or vice versa.
This is the most insidious part about people not declaring ads in their pages or these types of things. It's like nothing is real anymore.
And what you were referencing before about the animated content on Netflix, that was this huge campaign, what was it, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Mainly driven by Elon on Twitter, where, Libs of TikTok was one of the huge accounts posting about all of these Netflix shows that came out 3 years ago that were pushing gay stuff on kids and trans stuff on kids. No one endorses that. No one on our side ostensibly endorses that, and we all think it's bad, but it was just weird that suddenly we were all talking about all these shows that had either been discontinued or came out years ago. And it just so happened to coincide with Elon's announcement of X having a streaming platform of AI generated content, and then followed up by his joint collaboration to promote Tron Ares with the Tesla Optimus bots. And I was thinking, okay, well, if we're going to go tit for tat here, you could just list as many complaints about Disney as you could about Netflix. And similarly with this, you could go tit for tat when it comes to Netflix and Paramount. Paramount has plenty of skeletons in their closet. We just, last year or the year before that, we're talking about Quiet on Set. You could talk about plenty of things that
Paramount is going to
our values at Paramount.
Paramount will skip that now because of new leadership. They're going to get the pass to say with Skydance now in control over there and David Ellison now in control over there, they will say that Paramount was not under his regime did all that stuff happen. Of
course. I know, but I'm just saying we could go one for one for culture war level gripes with each and every studio head. And it does seem a little bit strange to me that suddenly all of these people on the right are caping for Paramount. And I do have David Ellison and derangement syndrome.
I mean, but that could also just be the organic nature of Trump's relationship to Larry Ellison, and they're just going to hitch their wagon to whatever Trump likes. And since Trump likes Larry Ellison, and even that's not true anymore, because Trump just went on his rant about Marjorie Trader Brown, which is what he's calling her. Instead of Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's Marjorie Trader Brown, because green turns brown under stress. That's literally, I think, what they put in the art in the tweet. In the Truth Social post. But the point of it was, he talks about her interview with 60 Minutes and then starts berating Paramount, saying the new leadership at 60 Minutes is no better, it's worse than the old leadership. So it's like you have to, and I don't take Trump at his word with stuff like that. I think he gets bombastic in the moment, and if Paramount was what the deal he thought was best for the country and they asked for regulatory approval, I think he would approve it anyways. But the problem is he said he's not going to take sides on this, but he does have that relationship with Larry Ellison, which is why when I was so surprised that Netflix got the bid to begin with, because I thought the biggest issue was going to be regulatory approval. And with them being close to Trump's administration, with all of the changes they made to CBS with Barry Weiss, I just felt like Paramount was a shoo-in, and they've got just limitless money, it seems, to acquire through all of their partners. It's Redbird Capital, it's Jared Kushner, it's $24 billion from all of the Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds. There was originally money from China involved in there that has since pulled out, and all of that. And it makes no sense to me. What if the Netflix thing had happened a month later, and it was actually Paramount seeing that it's possible that Netflix could get in on their bidding a month from now, and they got ahead of the game and started like dunking on Netflix beforehand? Because one of the things they were talking about was how Netflix stock started dropping. Anything's possible when you play the what if game. Also, remember, Ted's like, it's not like this wasn't planned. Ted Sarandos met with Trump like a month ago and basically said, like, I want to buy Warner Brothers. Trump's like, yeah, I don't know, bro. Like,
the interests of his son-in-law cannot be discounted here, and I still think this is a lose-lose situation for us as the consumers.
Absolutely,
when competition is killed, that happens in either outcome. Competition is killed, and it's a monopolization and storytelling based on algorithms. We're going to get AI slop content either way because of the affiliation with Oracle.
I will say I did a video that said that Paramount is the superior option, and I make sure to, like, at the beginning, I'm like, look, I don't like either option. I don't want this to happen. I want it to stay with just Warner Brothers being Warner Brothers, but that's not the world we're in right now. We're not in the game of what if. This is not what's going to happen. They're clearly going to sell to someone. If they go to Paramount, David Ellison has already committed a ton of time and effort to, at the very least, paying the proper lip service that a CEO is supposed to do to the idea of full theatrical windows, getting away from making movies that are award show slop that nobody actually goes and sees, giving Taylor Sheridan money to make his Call of Duty movie that he's going to be doing, that I believe that he's going to be doing before he leaves Paramount in 2028, all of these other things. I think there is a better option, but it's not an option that I want. The other reason I think it's weird is, like, the Netflix deal is so much more convoluted, and when David Zaslav got that offer from Paramount, from Paramount, from Netflix. Basically, they said, like, he would be allowed to stay on as co-head of the studio. Right? That's what Paramount said. Like, he would be, I'm sorry, not Netflix. Paramount said, you'll be able to stay on as co-head of the studio for Warner Brothers. That's not going to happen now if they do a hostile takeover. Like, they're going to kick him out because he left him on red. Sorry, my brain just went blank there for a minute. It's like, it's all so convoluted, and it makes you think, and it's not true, but you're just like, money's fake, isn't it? Like, it's all fucking fake. Like, it's 20 billion here. They have limitless money to spend in the Middle East. All for this. Thank goodness they're not going to be allowed to be on the board of directors for any of these companies, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to get foreign influence in films. There's a reason why they make movies like F1 now, because they're popular in other countries.
Yeah, it gives me the creeps either way.
It's like
and,
when
I
I don't think you were here when we went to see Moonfall, but there's a Chinese speaking nanny in that movie that was absolutely required by the studio because Tencent or whatever studio it was funded most of it and gave Roland Emmerich the money to make the movie. And we were just starting to get away from that because America realizes now that the box office in China isn't super viable. Zootopia 2 made like $500 million and they're going to keep 25% of that. Like, it's all fake.
I'm just encouraging people to free think a little bit here.
Yeah,
Even if you don't agree with my theory, at least entertain the possibility. Like, I got this reply that said, nah, people are just angry at woke flicks and the destruction of American pop culture since Disney bought 20th Century Fox. Paramount has been one of the only studios that's somewhat based.
Okay, here's the thing. That is ostensibly a little bit true, especially now with new leadership. They still released Mean Girls the musical, which was an abomination.
Look, if you're talking about based Paramount and woke flicks, I'm just saying, like, you are not of the IQ to even be having a conversation about this. Just try to entertain the theory. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just a feeling I had. I could be totally crazy, and I'm, you know what, fine. Fine, gaslight me all you want.
The best answer, honestly, here was NBC Universal. It was Comcast. It really was. That's just me. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of concurrent press tours going on right now. We have Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo on one hand promoting Wicked for Good for all of the theater kids. And on the other hand, we have Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried promoting their movie, which I believe comes out closer to Christmas, called The Housemaid. And that is based on a series of novels that I'm not familiar with. But these are two co-stars who have become, in my opinion, overly familiar with each other. In both cases, I saw a couple of headlines about Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried saying they're safer together. They hint at past negative experiences on set and being burned enough times. They've created some sort of blood pact together. Amanda Seyfried has also said it's easy to support Sydney Sweeney after they were bonding on the set of The Housemaid. Amanda Seyfried said, it's such a dream to do this with you. There's some of that, you know, they're encouraged to say because, you know, a good relationship between co-stars is good publicity. But this video kind of went over the top for me. It was Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried together on the red carpet, embracing. But it's like Amanda Seyfried is an inch away from Sydney Sweeney's
She looks
face.
like she is comforting her. That's what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my gosh.
It had Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande vibes to me, because there is one of them that seems to be like mothering the other one. And one of the replies, perhaps in a facetious way, said, can she get her hands off of her? Why is she being so possessive? This is not normal. There's something really dark about this, ...
This is what I'm talking about. Literally, the internet now is just people watching clips and imprinting their own world onto this. That's
well,
all
I think
nowadays.
you had seen some posts suggesting that Amanda Seyfried hates Sydney Sweeney as well.
Well, they were doing some interview. She made some facial expressions, and they're like, "Look at it. It's as clear as day. She hates her fucking guts." And the thing is, they don't say it like maybe she doesn't like her. They tell you as a fact that this is true. And all it does is it's just there to comfort them. They're like, I like Amanda Seyfried. I hate Sydney Sweeney. I need this to be true. Otherwise, my worldview is shattered.
However, I believe that initial reply was satirizing the conversation that's taken place around the unhinged Wicked interviews. And that has prompted a new debate over media bias and racial double standards. So one of the replies also said, there's no black woman to masculinize or villainize, therefore it's okay. They're saying that Amanda Seyfried is behaving in a way that is just as disturbing as Cynthia Erivo, but she is not getting the same level of backlash for her behavior because she is white and conventionally attractive.
All it takes is a little bit of creativity. I'll do it right now. So, because everybody hates Sydney Sweeney now, what you do, you say, look at the way she requires Amanda Seyfried to care for her. Look at the emotional labor she is making Amanda expel for her. Like, you can do that. You can do that very easily. She clearly doesn't want to, but she feels that she needs to because this movie's coming out and they need to promote it. She's babying her through the interview process so that she can get her stupid movie out, but she clearly can't stand her. You can do this. It doesn't take any effort at all. Just some creative thinking.
The two could get away with a certain type of behavior while Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo would be scrutinized for the very same actions. Now, I don't think that's a double standard at all, because by any objective metric, there is far more evidence that there is a strange, mutually destructive relationship between Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo compared to Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried. And that has been demonstrated in countless examples of the inappropriate touching and the sobbing. And not only that, I recently came across a clip of Ariana Grande in the middle of an interview for Wicked for Good, where she, word for word, is delivering a transcript from Cynthia Erivo's memoir. And yes, Cynthia Erivo does have a memoir, apparently. I just learned this recently. Ariana Grande apparently has read it, has memorized lines from it, and was delivering them in this interview as her own words.
Okay,
so
here we
take
go.
a look at that.
Here we go.
Petri dish since I was a teenager.
Since I was 16 or 17, you know, so I have heard it all.
I've heard it all.
I've heard
every version of what's wrong with me. And when I fix
and
it,
then you fix it, and then it's wrong for different reasons.
Even just the simplest things like your appearance.
You know,
it's hard to protect yourself from that noise.
It's something that is uncomfortable no matter what scale you're experiencing. Even if you go to Thanksgiving dinner and
if you go to Thanksgiving dinner,
someone's granny says,
and someone's granny says, "Oh my God, you look skinnier. What's wrong?"
"Oh my God, you look skinnier. What happened?" Or "You look heavier. What happened?"
"You look heavier. What happened?"
It's like that is something that is uncomfortable and horrible, no matter where it's happening, no matter the scale it's happening on.
Unfortunately,
and I think
in today's society, there's a degree of ease involved in commenting
that we
on
shouldn't
others.
have. Commenting on others'
Their looks,
appearance,
what people think might be
is
going on behind the scenes, their health,
or
how they present themselves, whether they are
themselves,
strangers.
You know, from what you're wearing to your body, to your face,
to your hair,
everything,
to your face.
There's a comfortability that people have.
This ease in making remarks is really dangerous.
That I think is really dangerous, and I think it's dangerous for all parties involved.
Is that not creepy as fuck?
That was so creepy.
Like, why are you doing that? It's obviously intentional.
Yeah.
Or there's witchcraft involved.
Maybe
and I'm not discounting that possibility. Like, have they just, possessed each other spiritually?
Must be. There's also, the sad fact is that there's just more evidence of one of them being weirder than the other. If the Sydney Sweeney one continued to be weird, they could keep going. But there was a lot of attention paid to her thing with Glenn Powell, because they felt that they were too close for people who were in relationships. So I think I think they want to make this about racism where racism isn't the issue.
Obviously, Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried have never even approached that level of weirdness. What do you think is the backstory there? Like, did Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo practice these lines together? Did they open up the memoir and choose an excerpt that they're going to deliver in the middle of an interview out of context in a way that kind of just gives them a thrill because they know that most people aren't going to notice it?
No,
but only the super fans will.
It was that what was that video we did?
What the hell was that?
Where they said that she went for reprogramming. She had her memory wiped.
I mean, yeah, like when Ariana Grande said that, it went viral for all the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons.
At least when she said that in the interview about getting her memory wiped, it was a reference to the lore behind her Eternal Sunshine album and the movie.
That reminds me.
Named after.
I made a joke yesterday about Zach. I meant to mention this at the beginning of the show. I made a joke yesterday about Zach Brown being at Bohemian Grove. He's been there. He's performed there. Yes.
No.
I I got a message from somebody on X yesterday who's like, I actually went on Inverted World and talked about Zach Brown's connection to Bohemian Grove. I'm not even kidding you. I was like, well, fuck
I feel
me
like
then.
I'm losing my mind.
I was like, well, fuck me then. I was like, I literally made the most ridiculous thing I could think of, and I'm wrong. I was like, bro, you're right. I guess, like, fuck me then.
Bro, what? Okay, I retract all statements about Zach Brown yesterday. He was, in fact, performing a demonic ritual.
Yeah.
I take it all back. But seriously, though, in all seriousness, do you think that they planned that?
Yeah.
Together?
Yeah.
Like that was a weird sleight of hand that they wanted to pass over on the audience or something?
I mean,
like,
what's the only other
hell would their motivation be for doing that?
What's the only other option? Is the only other option that their press tour planned this ahead of time so that they could later release this?
Are they leaning into the weirdness on purpose at this point? I don't know. But the people defending their behavior just seem so freaking delusional. I also wanted to show this Meat Canyon parody video of the two of them.
I don't think we can show Meat. We get copyrighted when we show Meat Canyon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
Never mind then.
I'll pick it up here so you guys can see it. But it's the art does nobody any.
Well, obviously,
Yeah.
it's always the same style that you see
Yeah.
in these videos. And people were saying that this is unfair. One of them said, "Mark my words, in 10 years from now, people are going to look back at this the same way we now look back at Britney Spears' abuse in 2007, Anna Nicole Smith, Princess Diana, etc."
Does anybody actually look at the Britney Spears stuff that way? I think most people just kind of they lost that plot and they just think of her as a train wreck.
Another Ariana Grande stan account said, "This is the most dehumanizing shit ever. How can you make this and think it's okay?"
I mean, it's the world they signed up for, to be in the public eye, unfortunately. It's definitely like it's not an appetizing image, but that's what happens. You've made yourself part of the public conversation.
The girls and the gays and the theater theys are just going to see shit like this and say that it's an example of misogyny and misogynoir and structural racism, when in reality it's us having a completely reasonable reaction to your insane behavior.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know where they what they should do, they should become a team and start making only movies together so they can go on these press tours, cuz Wicked is failing now. Like, and it's like it tumbled at the box office. It's not making the money they thought it was going to make cuz it had stiff competition with Zootopia 2, and we're getting them now. We've got Avatar next weekend or whatever it is. By the way, The Housemaid comes out on the 19th, which I believe is so next week comes out the same week that Avatar comes out, I believe, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Speaking of Sydney Sweeney's box office reputation, she just did a Sports Illustrated cover with the real Christie in a boxing ring set, and she was dressed up in this, boxing uniform, and I was like, if she had looked like that in the movie, it probably would have done better.
There was a tweet that said, "Loose tank top and a push-up bra. I hate her."
Okay, I'm just saying the reality is Christie would have gotten better box office numbers had Sydney Sweeney looked like Sydney Sweeney in the movie. That would not have been historically accurate, but that's the reality of the situation.
Well, the thing is,
they're still trying to salvage that.
She is still one of these people that wants to be an artist. She wants to be an artist. She doesn't want to be actually, you know what it is? It's two things. She wants to be an artist in the screen, and then on the smaller screen, she wants to be a sex symbol that sells tons of merch. She wants both worlds.
It used to be that a sex symbol didn't show everything. Like, the air of mystery was essential to being a sex symbol, and she does not have that.
It is kind of interesting, though, that she's not leveraging her reputation outside the big screen to use the corporate worlds, synergistically meld it with movies that actually lean into it. Like, by now, we should have seen her in Charlie's Angels, like some Charlie's Angels remake. She should have been in something. I mean, they're going to do the Barbarella movie and stuff like that. She should be in movies that lean into her sex appeal, but she's almost obstinate in her refusal to do so.
Yeah, it's just not the direction that she wants to take her career, apparently.
Very interesting. All right. Guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel, please. Also, if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, please and thank you. If you are watching this during the premiere portion of this episode, because we were pre-recorded, give us a bunch of thumbs up, please. We need the thumbs up.
Yes.
And then our hope is that tomorrow we will be back live. I did notice, so your Wi-Fi, it got dodgy a couple of times in there. We're going to have to look into what we're going to do about that. But we're hoping that tomorrow we can go live and we'll see what happens. I'll have a heart attack the whole time because I'm going to be sitting there worried that we're going to lose our connection. But I think we're going to go for it. Why the hell not? So again, hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Mary, where can they find you?
Yes, I just want to say we're looking forward to interacting with the chat again because it's been too long. You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived, and help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. If you guys want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here. Well, I got to come up with a new intro. This show is normally 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are working out our holiday schedule right now. We're getting everything figured out. Stay tuned. Depending on what's going on, we've got with Mary on Thursday. We do not know what's going on Friday, and then I may be doing a Saturday live stream as well, just hanging out. I'm going to turn into the new king of just chatting. I'm going to be the Pokimane of PCC. So if you want to follow me, Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Also, you can listen to this podcast, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. That's a great way to help the channel out. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see y'all then. Bye, everybody.